We're going to be going over in this video how to add and modify sermons. Once you're in the dashboard of your website, you're going to have a page like this. There may be some more things in this area here. But what you're going to do is you're going to go over on the left hand side and we see something called posts. And we're going to hover over posts, and then we're going to go over here and we're going to click on all posts. In here what we see is we have a number of different posts, and these go to different areas on the website. The ones that have the category of sermons, which we see here, these are going to be the sermons on your sermon page. And we will see how to add the sermons to that as we go on. The first thing we want to do to add a sermon is we want to click on Add New up here in Posts, and we're going to title the sermon whatever we want, and we'll call this Sermon Test. And we're going to, in this area, as we scroll down the screen, we're going to see an area here. This is where the body of your sermon is going to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some text to this. You would, however you record your sermon, you're going to record it on maybe a Word file or whatever you record it to, and then you're going to copy and paste it into this area right here. Then what you're going to do to add it to the sermons page is over here on the right hand side we have some categories. You're going to add this to the sermon category. You're going to check that box right there. You're going to click on Publish. As soon as you're happy with how the sermon is, you're going to click on Publish, and your sermon will now appear on the sermons page. If we go to the actual site, we can go over to the site. We'll click on the sermons page, and Sermon Test has now been added to that page. If we click on the title, that will open up into that actual sermon. That's how a sermon is added. So now we go back to our dashboard, and we're going to say we want to make a modification to a sermon. Again, we're going to go to Posts and then All Posts. We're going to click on All Posts and say we want to modify this sermon right here. We can tell it's a sermon because the category is sermon. We go over here and we can click on the name of the sermon and say we want to make a change to this sermon. To make a change, what we're going to do is we're going to put our cursor in the area that we want to make a change, and we'll add some text here. I'm going to say some text. And if we go back again, when I'm flipping back and forth between the site and the dashboard, I have a tab open, which is your dashboard tab. And then on another tab here, I've opened up your actual site, and this is your actual website. And now I can see what things actually look like on the website itself. So if I want to see the sermon how it looks right now, that particular sermon, I'm going to click on the sermons page, and this is the sermon which I'm modifying right here. So I'm going to click on that, I'm going to open that, and as we can see, here's what it says right now before I've made my change. Now I'm going to go back to the dashboard tab, and as you can see, I've added, after What is Scrooge, I'm going to add some text here. That will not appear on your website until you click this update button over here. So when I click this update button, and you see the circle, that means it's actually updating. When the circle ends, then that means the site has been updated. Now when I go back to your actual site and I refresh, in order to refresh any page, you'll find the curved arrow. It may be in different places depending on which browser you're using. And I'm going to click on that arrow and I'm going to refresh the page. Now you can see some text was added to that page. So now I'm going to go back to the dashboard page again, and because I don't actually want to add that, I'm going to place my cursor. This would be just like you do in Word. I'm going to place my cursor right after the added text, and I'm just going to backspace to delete that. Say I want to add an image to this sermon. What I could do to add the image is I'm going to place my cursor where I want to add the image to. I'm going to go up here to where it says Add Media. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to add a picture from my computer. I'm going to click on this part right here, this button right here. And I'm going to add a picture from my computer. I'm going to navigate on my computer to wherever you want to go. And I'm going to click on a picture from my computer. Then I'm going to click on Open. This will add this picture to a place on your website called the Media Library. And you can see that's, that picture has been checked. Now when I go to click on Insert into Post, that picture will appear in your actual page or your sermon. You can see that when a picture goes into the post, what happens is the words are pushed down to the bottom of that post or that picture. That's normally not going to be how you want the picture to be seen on the site. So what you do to bring the text back up here to the top of the picture is hover, or is to click on the picture itself, and it's going to give you these different options. And this is to align the picture on the left-hand side of the page, align it in the middle of the page, or align it to the right, or no alignment, which it is right now. No alignment will push the text to the bottom of the picture. Now if I go over to Align Left and I click on Align Left, you can see that the text goes back up and wraps automatically around the picture. So now again, that will not appear on the actual site until I click on Update. Now when I click on Update, and I go back to the site, and then I click on Refresh, that picture will appear on your actual site now. And because I don't actually want it there, I'm going to go back to the dashboard again. Just scroll down the page a little bit to where that picture is. Now I'm going to click on the picture, and I'm going to go up here to where it says the X's and where it says to remove. I'm going to click on that, and that removes the picture. And then I'm going to update the page again, and the change has been made. It's now the way it should be on the website. So that's how we add sermons and how we modify the sermon. I want to show you one more thing. As we can see, when we go into the actual site again, and I go to the sermons page, you'll notice that this date right here is the date that I have added the sermon. Say this sermon was preached on the Sunday before this, and you didn't add it till a few days after. You would want this date to be the date of when the sermon was actually preached. So I'm going to show you how to make that date the actual date of the sermon. So I'm going to go back into my dashboard again. I'm going to go into Posts, and then All Posts. And here's that sermon test. I'm going to click on sermon test, and that will open up the sermon in the dashboard. You go over here on the right hand side, and this is where this says published on whatever date you published it on. If you want to change that date, what you can do here is to click on edit, and then what we're going to do is say Sunday was the 11th. I'm going to just go in there and change that date to whenever that was actually preached, and then I'm going to click on OK. And now the published date says September 11th, so when I click on update, and then I go back to the website and I click on refresh, now you can see the sermon date has been changed to the actual date when it was preached. So that's how we add and modify sermons on your website.